Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Man fatally shot by police in cassava peas, residents protest. The Independent Commission of Investigations INDICOM is probing the fatal shooting of a man by the police in cassava peas, St. Andrew Tuesday night. The deceased 24-year-old Kashif Michael, otherwise called Zeno, was shot during an alleged shootout. Michael was reportedly employed as a merchandiser. It is reported that shortly after 10 p.m., cops on patrol encountered 3 men. It is further reported that the men opened fire on the cops, who returned fire. The men ran. Michael was later seen suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police say a 9mm pistol was recovered at the scene. Residents from the community took to the streets yesterday morning to protest the killing. The block road was cleared by the police and they are maintaining a presence in the area. Investigations are ongoing. CXC exams delayed by 3 weeks. Caribbean Examination Council CXC exams have been delayed by 3 weeks. Jamaica's Education Ministry have been appealing to CXC from as early as January for postponement of the regional examinations. CXC administers the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Exam CAPE and Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations. At a press conference, CXC Registrar Dr. Wayne Wesley said the decision was made during a special joint meeting of the School Examinations Committee SEC and the Council. Examinations will now commence on May 23rd. Results will be released between late August and early September. Additionally, teachers have been given 2 weeks more to submit grades for school-based assessment to CXC. NWAC customers to pay higher bills. Customers of the National Water Commission NWAC are to pay higher bills starting in May. The water, sewage and service rates and miscellaneous fees charged by the NWAC will increase by 11.7%. The change is in keeping with the interim tariff determination of 2019 granted by the Office of Utilities Regulations, or the NWAC explains that the adjustment in the rates is a result of the resetting of the base rates of the component used in the calculation of the Price Adjustment Mechanism (PAM). The components of the calculation of PAM are the Consumer's Price Index (CPI), the exchange rate, and electricity charge, it notes. The water company says these factors are outside the control of the NWAC. Security guard parent in coronald primary altercation to go to mediation. The security guard and parent who were involved in a physical altercation at Coronald Avenue Primary are to go to mediation ahead of their return to the St. James Parish Court on May 4. During his first court appearance yesterday, security guard Lieutenant Ferron pleaded guilty with explanation to the charge of assaulting occasionally bodily harm. The court was told that he used a piece of board to hit the complainant on his left shoulder during the altercation, which took place on April 11. In response to presiding judge Sasha Ashley's recommendation to pursue restorative justice, both men agreed to attend mediation sessions in order to resolve the matter. As a result, Ashley sent Ferron's matter for mention on May 4. The complainant is also set to appear before the court on the same day to answer the charges related to the incident. It was reported that on the day of the incident, Ferron, who was on duty at the school when the complainant, who is the stepfather of a student, arrived at the institution to pick up the child. However, Ferron refused to grant him access. The complainant reportedly pushed his way past Ferron, following which the 2 men engaged in a physical altercation, which was caught on video. The man was seen in the viral video raining blows on Ferron while being dressed in a Transport Authority uniform. Classes were cancelled at the school the day after the incident. The Ministry of Education condemned the incident, while school administrators called for improved security. Security forces, agencies clamped down on illegal activities in St. James. There were heightened enforcement operations in St. James yesterday as the authorities clamped down on illegal activities. The operations, which started at 6 a.m., involved the security forces, municipal personnel, and several agencies such as The Island Traffic Authority (ITA) Deputy Superintendent of Police Aaron Samuels indicated that the operations targeted criminals, illegal vending, traffic enforcement, and public order. A lot of motor vehicle license plates were taken and a lot of arrests were made. As for the public order anti-vending initiative, we have seized a lot of goods. We have executed several targeted raids within the township and the outskirts of Montego Bay. These were geared at targeting members of the G-City gang, which is having some inter-gang conflicts which are playing out in the town center. Assistant Operators Officer for the St. James Division Assistant Superintendent Theodore Hayes reported. Several persons were arrested for breaches of the law reform, fraudulent transactions, Special Provisions Act commonly known as the Lottery Scamming Act. Persons were also arrested for several pounds of ganja and offensive weapon hills added. On the traffic enforcement side, the police issued dozens of tickets. We are coming from Kingston and are here to assist with the carnage and lawlessness that is taking place in the city of Montego Bay. 2 operations have held over 200 traffic tickets, and we are also with the ITA personnel. Working with us, they have identified and removed over 50 defective vehicles, said Assistant Superintendent of Police at the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Delon Lewis. He noted that similar operations were undertaken in St. Anne, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Westmoreland. June 7 return date for St. James mom charged over fatal house fire. Christiana Johnson, the woman charged with manslaughter after her 2 children were killed in a house fire in St. James last May, has been ordered to return to court on June 7. The date was set when Johnson appeared before the St. James Parish Court. Her bail was extended. Presiding Parish Judge Sasha Ashley was told that while the report from the fire brigade was ready, the children's birth certificates were required for the file. It was also disclosed that one of the officers in the matter was absent from court, sitting due to illness. Your new court date is June 7, and it is a hearing date. Your bail is extended, and you will have to give your fingerprints to the police, Ashley told Johnson before allowing her to leave the courtroom. It is expected that disclosure will be made to Johnson's attorney, Martin Thomas, by May 19. It is being alleged that on May 19, 2021, Johnson left her 3-year-old and 1-year-old children alone on their board house in Barnet Hall, St. James, and went to a nearby shop to buy items. Shortly after, she received word that the house was on fire with the children trapped inside. A team from the Jamaica Fire Brigade helped to battle the blaze, and in the aftermath, the 2 children's charred remains were found among the rubble. Johnson was subsequently arrested and charged. June 10, bail application for alleged Ranko Gang leader co-accused. Alleged leader of the Ranko Gang, Constable Tafari Silvero, and 8 alleged members of the gang were yesterday remanded for a bail application on June 10. The defendants made their first appearance in the Home Circuit Court yesterday on breaches of the anti-gang legislation. Along with Silvero are Constables Roger Morrison, Tennille Francis, and Danilo Barnes. The civilians charged along with the cops are Josette Brown, Tevin Henriquez, David Henry, Olviga Mackenzie, and Nicholas Simpson. Anthony Campbell, another civilian in the case, did not appear because of technical difficulties and is to appear later this week. The defendants, some of whom appeared in person and others via Zoom, were remanded by Justice Lorna Shelley Williams after the date for bail application was fixed. The judge, in the meantime, ordered the prosecution to make disclosure to the defense by May 6. The defendants, barring Silvero, were arrested in March and subsequently charged. 8 policemen are said to be involved in the Clarendon-based gang, including one who allegedly fled the island when Silvero was arrested last June. However, one of the policemen who was arrested in March was released after the witnesses refused to take part in an identification parade. The Ranko Gang, which has been linked to 17 incidents, is alleged to have carried out shootings, burglaries, robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of a firearm, shop breaking, conspiracy to murder, and abductions in Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, St. Mary, Trelawney, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. James, between 2019 and 2021. Silvier was arrested last June while on duty at the Hunts Bay police station in St. Andrew and charged following allegations that he had contracted 2 men to kill a Clarendon man. He was joined to charge with conspiracy to murder in that matter with civilians Christopher Robinson and Mark Bennett. They are to return to court on July 29. The issue is said to be related to the gang and the case is expected to be joined. Attorney at law Richard Lynch is representing Morrison, while George Clough is representing Simpson and Mackenzie. Attorney at law Dwight Reese is representing Barnes, Henry and Henriquez. The other defendants are to settle their representations. Hannah B. Mourns import substitution policy. Member of Parliament for St. Anne's South East Lisa Hannah has described Jamaica's import substitution policy as a dead end for several industries. She charged that the pursuit of an economic policy of import substitution and protection for the past 50 years has only created monopolies and benefited a few. According to Hannah, this approach by respective administrations has not created an export-driven economy or led to any significant export of manufactured goods despite substantial duty protection. In her contribution to the sectoral debate in Garden House on Tuesday, Hannah pointed out that over the past 10 years, Jamaica has consistently imported 4 times more than it exported. The opposition MP argued that the country's agricultural policy supports the protection of local-grown Irish potatoes, despite Jamaica's lack of competitive edge in the growing crop. Our production cost to produce locally grown Irish potatoes is 750% above the world market, she revealed. According to Hannah, the current farm gate price for 1 pound of Irish potatoes in Jamaica is Jamaican $176 or US $1.14. The world market for Irish potatoes is US 15 cents or Jamaicans $23. So Jamaicans are paying 7.5 times more than the price on the world market for this product, she highlighted. The St. Anne's South East MP said that Jamaica's systematic approach to designing and implementing policies has not changed over decades, and this has resulted in the country's dismal performance in some areas. Arguing that the country has failed to offer quality education to most Jamaicans, Hannah asserted that Jamaica is ranked last in the English-speaking Caribbean for literacy. She said the country was positioned 5th among the top 5 Caribbean countries in 2019 for annual labor and productivity and last in per capita export for the region. Union wants reinstatement of auxiliary workers at King's House. The Jamaica Civil Service Association is calling for the reinstatement of 2 auxiliary workers sent home by King's House. The union says during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, the workers who are employed by the government sought to remain at work notwithstanding protocols regarding vaccination. It says they informed their employer of them having uncontrollable comorbidities and furnished letters from their doctors indicating such. Notwithstanding, they were told not to come to work, with no deadline or timeline given for resumption, according to the union. The union said it intervened and instructed them to report to work daily. It noted that despite the fact that at turning up at the gate and there being no vaccination mandate in the public sector, they were refused entry. On the instant that they did receive permission to access the compound, they were ushered off the premises and accusations of insubordinate outbursts was leveled against them. Since then, these 2 staff members have been off the job, unable to attend to their duties, but were being paid fortnightly by the government, a union spokesperson said in a statement. On a request by the union for their full reinstatement, they not being charged or brought before a disciplinary panel on the allegations of insubordinate outbursts, King's House has proceeded to cease paying a salary to them, the spokesperson charged. Having engaged the Office of the Services Commission, the Secretary to His Excellency, the Governor General, the union said it was advised that the Attorney General's chambers would have been consulted in dealing with what it called a constitutional crisis, to do with whom are employed to the GG in his personal capacity as against who are employees of the state. These workers for no case or action on their part, are being victimized by King's House to prove a point that is only known to King's House. We are seeking to bring this condition to the public's attention as we feel that King's House ought to have behaved more responsible as it relates to those 2 auxiliary workers, the spokesperson said. According to the union, attempts by it as well as by the Office of the Services Commission to intervene in the matter have been rebuffed by King's House. Queries sent to the King's House from a response from reporters to issue raised by the union were unanswered up to the time of publication.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.